Well, good afternoon, friends. How is everybody? I hope you're all doing well. It's kind of nice to watch the snow begin to melt and my beautiful icicle. I don't know if you saw that picture I put on Facebook today, but that was a big icicle, I thought. It was quite interesting. It's been an interesting week. I will say that while I've spent a lot of time in my craft room, what with all the snow and the cold, I didn't start out in my craft room very early any day because it was just so pretty the first day to sit and watch the snow fall so gently and see it pile up on the trees and on my wisteria that goes across my deck, my front deck. So it's been so pretty. I just love snow. It's so cute. Anyway, I did get busy and I did get some cards made, which you will be seeing over time. I'm trying to use my new sweets. I am doing really well. I'm going to show you. This size bin was absolutely stuffed with new product. And this is all that's left to play with that I haven't played with yet. So I am feeling pretty good about that. One thing missing from it is the Trusty Tools set and the paper that goes with it. And this is in the Celebration catalog. So if you've bought the bundle, which is stamps and I should probably do this with it down. Stamps and dies. Lots of dies. Oh, wrong direction. There we are. Stamps and dies. Which also cut out some of the designer series paper. Then you'd have enough to get the designer series paper for free out of the Celebration catalog. So I'm looking forward to playing with that. But first, reality is I've had a couple of friends' husbands die this week, and I am still making sympathy cards. So we're going to make a very pretty one. It's one I've made. In fact, I have a video on it on my YouTube channel because it was in a video hop. And then I also have used it for my in-home workshop on Monday night. So here we go. I'm going to switch us around. Moving this in. There, I think that's good. Hopefully. Again, Stampin' with Nancy, Nancy Reynolds. And what we're going to make today is this lovely card. Now this is made with Celebration products. I promised we would play with some Celebration products this week. And so what I've used, well, I'll show you in the book in a minute, but let's show you in real life. I used this is a bundle. For $100 in sales, you can get this for free. Hi, Lori. Good to see you. It's the most beautiful, delicate embossing folder. It is just lovely. And then the stamp set's very nice. I like You're in my thoughts. There's also a hello there, and I really appreciate you. So it does cover more than just sympathy cards. And then I did pull in from the Thoughtful Expressions in the mini catalog. I pulled in the dies. I love these dies. They're my new favorite. Both of them. Both sets of the nesting dies. So here on page 14 is the bundle with the stamp set and the embossing folder. And this is a 3D embossing folder, so I'll remind you of what the sandwich is for that. And then I used the paper that goes with the stippled stamp set in the Stippled Roses bundle in the mini catalog. But I also thought it went really nicely with this. So that's what we're using. Here's the paper. Lots of pretty colors. And this is just little samples that I made with all the paper. I didn't have enough of this particular design to make enough kits for my party Monday night. for the workshop. So I used this one and everybody loved it. So the kits that I'm going to give away after next week for those who comment and those who share will be getting this design because so many people liked that design that all those kits are gone. I do try to make a few extras so I have some to play with and to give away. Speaking of giveaways, let's see. I need to get my paper. For last week's Facebook Live, I will be sending out for sharing a card kit to Cindy Walker. Remember that was that back fold card? And then Sheila Isley. I don't know how to pronounce it. I am so sorry. But she will be getting for commenting a card kit. And I've already messaged them and let them know. So I'm very happy to be able to give it away. This is the envelope. I'm going to do our envelope just a little different, but I am going to show you how I did the embossing folder on the back flap. Isn't that pretty? It's just a pretty card. I just really enjoyed making it and designing it. So let's go ahead and let's get started. Now, again, for commenting and for sharing, there will be a card for each card kit for next week. And this is what the card kit will look like. I haven't put in the embellishments yet because, oh, your bow won't be tied either. You'll just get a section of ribbon. But I went ahead and tied this one. So what we have is a card base in the thick basic white. You could also use vanilla with this because it's got that gold base and the wild wheat. I think vanilla would look very nice. It's 4 1/4 by 11 or 10.5 by 29.7 centimeters, which is kind of, I like this size for cards because when I'm taking pictures, it stands up so nicely. But if you like to fold it, cut it the other way and fold it, that's fine too. It'll work perfectly. I have a piece of gold foil, and my goodness, I used a lot of gold foil, but I needed to conserve. So my piece is 4 1/4 by 5 3/8 inches, or 10.3 by 14.7 centimeters. And I took the die from the Thoughtful Expressions and cut out a backing, the layer for my sentiment. So it's getting double duty. For the inside, I have a piece that's 4 by 5 1/2, and that is the exact 5 1/4 inches. Sorry, 4 by 5 1/4 inches. And it is the same size as the Designer Series paper that's going on the front. So this will be on the inside, this will be on the front, and I have already run this through the embossing folder. Let me pull it up to the camera. Can you see how pretty that is? It's just so delicate. This is my new favorite embossing folder. I cut a piece of basic white using that very same die cut. And I have a piece that I'm going to put on the inside just as a decoration. I had 2 pieces. I cut it in half, put one top, one bottom. I just used what I had sitting around. And then for our stamps, it really is a 2-step stamp because this is our branch. We're going to do it in wild wheat. And these are the flowers, and we're going to do those in Lost Lagoon. So we're going to have kind of blue flowers. And then our ribbon is the gold, let's see, satin edged ribbon. And this is in the annual catalog. I really enjoy kind of mixing up my products. For our flowers, as you know, I believe that every flower should sparkle. So I've got my Winkle Stella glitter brush. This is an old one. It's kind of been sitting around and I didn't realize I hadn't used it up. So there's still plenty in it. Okay. And this is our envelope, just the medium white envelope. Let's get started. I think because I do tend to do better if I don't have as much sitting around. So let's go ahead and put together what we can. Now you do want to be careful with the gold foil because when it gets glue on it, it looks icky. So let me get my glue out. You of course can use Seal or Seal Plus. One thing I like about glue is you just be careful not to get too much on it. Is it gives you just that moment of wiggle room. It helps with lining things up. It looks like I cut this one a little, not quite as wide as some of the others. So let me look. We might have to cut down our designer series paper because that looks 4 inches instead of 4 1/8 inches. Yes, I think it is. Well, that could be a problem. Although it worked fine at the party, at the workshop, so it's not a big problem. Oh. Maybe it's not. Let me measure. Oh, it's not that. That's the problem. I'm the problem. I cut the white Cardbase at 4 1/2 instead of 4 1/4. So it's just going to look a little off. It'll be good. Or not. There's never a mistake in card making. You have to remember that. So we're going to take off a sliver. Actually, let's open it up. I'm going to take off a sliver from this side, about 1/8 inch. And then we're going to take off a sliver from the other side, 1/8 inch. I do that every once in a while. I cut things incorrectly. I will double check your card kit if you win it. Let's see, how close am I now? There's 4 1/4. This is 4 1/4. Perfect. There is our card. We're going to put our designer series paper on. And if you wanted to have a little more designers, a little more of the gold showing, you could make this a little bit smaller. It could have been 3/4 inches wide and 5 inches tall. It does look like I got in my cutting and my mismeasuring and cutting. Looks like I've got this on a little bit crooked, but I think we're just going to leave it. Because when I send it out, nobody's going to notice. Now, let's go to stamping. I thought that I would like the stamping done on the glass mat, even with, it's great with the cling stamps, but even with the photopolymer. But what I found is that it's not quite, it doesn't have enough give. It came out better when I used my piercing mat. So let's go ahead and get my Tuxedo Black ink. Remember that the Stampin' Up! Rule, oh, Laura, you like 5x7? Those are nice, most of it, but our paper comes in, it's so easy to get 2 cards from one sheet of our paper, cardstock. And so our envelopes are the A2 size. Let's see. I'm hoping that looks straight. And then we're going to put the lid back on. Get our wild wheat for our leaves. It is a little crooked. The other side is not as pretty with the stitching. But let's do one, just see what it does. If it's straighter, then we'll use it. Because it still has a stitched look. And I am wanting my words a little bit higher on here. Nope, they're both about the same. So I'm going with this side because I like the stitching. One thing I did suggest to everybody at the party, for the workshop, was to use the paper and stamp, because it's just a little bit of a tricky alignment. It's not that hard, but it is tricky. It is harder when your head is not straight over it, though. These are for the buds, and here are buds. So if you line this bud up with this one, if you line the two buds up, you get a pretty good picture. So let's go ahead and do that on our card. And we'll put this towards the bottom with our Lost Lagoon flowers. Hi Gladys, good to see ya. How are you today? What's everybody drinking? I have got some ice water because normally at 2 I might be having another cup of coffee, but it seems I was looking outside at the snow melting and the water dripping off that huge icicle. So I pretty much have had more than enough coffee today. So I went to ice water. I was watching another demonstrator and she was just fun. I was watching her Facebook Live, and every time she lost something on her desk, and may I say that she loses things often on her desk, she would say, when she said found it, she'd have everybody take a drink and hydrate. So let's hydrate. Even though I haven't lost anything yet. So here's our focal piece. Now you'll notice these are exactly the same size, and that is very easy to fix. Cut this one in half. And then I take and put just a little bit of glue on the top of the white, and I line it up. I think my eyes are off today. There we are. We've got one done. Well, almost. I'm squinching it around. Okay. I'm going to put it down for a second. I'm going to let those kind of... Oh, Lori, you're eating ice cream? Gladys, you've also got ice water. Ice cream sounds good. There is a dairy up here, Edeline Dairy, out north closer to the border, probably 10 miles from me. And they've got a couple other places in town where they sell the best ice cream you would ever want to eat. Their serving size is generous. And this summer, I got a coconut. And it was so good. I love coconut. Okay, so you're going to do the very same thing on the other side. Is just line up your gold up against your white. You can make it, you want it to have about the same. I don't think anybody's coming in with a ruler though and going, oh, I'm sorry, this one is like a smidge above this side, bigger than this side. Oh, shoot. I hate when I do that. That, while it's wonderful to have the glue that moves around, it's a pain in the neck sometimes. Oh, Shirley, your ice water too? Oh, we're all going to be so healthy. And Lori's going to enjoy hers more. So while it's here, and I'm thinking about it, let's talk embellishments. I put on the neutrals sequins. So they're neutrals adhesive backed sequins. I found gold in the pastel adhesive backed sequins, which is very good because gold matches what we're doing. I also found these are the Tinsel Gems 3-pack, and it's got Lost Lagoon. So I think I'm going with the gold. What do you think? Lost Lagoon or gold sequins? I'll let you decide that. While I turn this over and put dimensionals on the back. Now look, almost a new pack of dimensionals. I haven't been using it very long. There's something very satisfying to me about finishing up a pack of dimensionals. And I'm putting on a little more than I probably need. But you know, no sagging focal points. Okay, here we are. Into the garbage can. And then our centerpiece just kind of goes in the middle. I'm going to get that out of the way since I'm not stamping. There we are. No one has picked it. Would anyone prefer the Lost Lagoon? Oh, I could take that out. It's prettier this way. The Lost Lagoon gems instead of the gold. If nobody would prefer them, then I'm going to go with the gold. And I've really used a lot of the gold up. Put a little glue dot on my ribbon. I made a shorter tail on, I had a smaller piece of ribbon. When I was cutting the ribbon in the 2 packs I'm going to mail out, I made them generous, but I cut one that was too short, so I decided I would use that one. Okay, pretty outside. Now we need a pretty inside. Oh, and we haven't done the envelope yet. But let's go with the pretty inside. Just going to pull my cutter over, line up this one so it looks like it's in half. And if it's not exactly in half, I always like putting the one that's just a little bit wider on the bottom. And there we are. Leave a little bit of white at the bottom. And now do the top. I could have used the other side that was the wild wheat side. Wild wheat is growing on me. I will say that when it first was released, I wasn't very fond of it, but it's much better now. You see, I am getting so much better with the Seal Plus than I was. I have improved. So here we are. We'll put this in. A pretty inside, a pretty outside. Oh, Lori would like me to try Lost Lagoon. See, all I needed was one little push that direction. Actually, I was thinking this was Lost Lagoon, but this one, let me look at the colors again. Yes, this one is the Lost Lagoon, the greenish. So let's put it on and see what we think. Do we like that better or not as well as the gold? Certainly shows up nicely. Here, I'll put another one on. I'm not going to put it on the raised edge because it's not flat, but I'll put it right in there. There. Okay, holding them up to the camera. So I like the Lost Lagoon. I think that's a good choice. And here is the gold. I think I like the Lost Lagoon. In the kits, I'll put 3 of each color so you can choose which one you want. That will be easy. The last thing we need to do is the envelope. So I'm going to bring in my large Stamp and Cut and Emboss machine. I've got plate number 1 and plate number 4 because the plate number 4 goes with the embossing folders that are 3D. And this is a 3D. Even though it doesn't feel as thick as some of the other ones, it is 3D. Oh, that's not what I want. This is what I want. Okay. All I do is I want the embossing folder in on the Stampin' Up side. So it's hard because my machine's in the way. So here's the Stampin' Up side. So to emboss it, I have just wrapped it around. Then I'll put it hinge first. Always put your hinge in first because there's too much pressure in the machine and it can break your hinge. And you don't want that to happen. And I don't want that to happen to you. And then it just runs through. Oh, we're shaking a little there. Sorry. There we are. Now you can see a little better how it was put in. And how pretty that looks on the back. Isn't that lovely? If you do it the other way, then I think I may have had you put it in backwards. Because this is the raised, and that would be even prettier on the back. But it works either way. This almost looks like a quilted effect. Well, I like that too. So you can put it in. Let's see. I can grab another envelope. I'm not going to run it through, and I will emboss your envelope, and I will do it this way. Well, since I have 2, I'll do 2 of them because there's 2 kits. It is possible I've already done those the other way, so they're going to be quilted. I'm sorry. Although, I like the quilted to go through the mail. So, we are going to do one more little stamping thing because instead of putting a leftover piece of Designer Series paper, I think I'm just going to use my stamps to decorate. So, here's our stem, and then we will do our flowers in Lost Lagoon. There we are. Now we have a pretty envelope to go with our pretty card. Oh, Shirley, I'm glad you like this layout. I like simple but pretty when I'm sending off sympathy cards. So here's today's. Here's the one I did the other day. My host code's going to be changing, so the one that's pinned to the top, I will change that out as soon as I close that workshop. That was my friend Kathy's workshop, so any orders I got off that went to her. So she's got lots of fun stuff. Celebration is a great time to have a party. Let's see, I'm going to cover up that. Yep, covered up the light from above. That is the one thing about this mat, the glass mat, is it does reflect my lights, but I need my lights so that you can see what I'm doing. Oh, Gladys, thank you. I'm glad you like them. I hope that you will like the cards, like my video, follow my channel, and let your friends know about it if you've enjoyed it. And if you'd like to hold a workshop online, we can figure out how to do that. So, have a wonderful day. I will see you next week. Maybe there will be some tools involved next week with that the tool bundle. Anyway, I shall see you next week. And until I see you, I want to wish you a happy crafting. Bye-bye.